Hello everyone and welcome to this special episode not of Ignition Time of the DC Comedy Hour. I'm about to show you a video montage of the most newsworthy moments of the week from Montana meth. Yes, I said Montana meth, to secret lists that President Biden has, to the most important issue facing the country at the border, United States senators going to the US-Mexico border in an armed boat and then making declarations about the most important issue facing the country. Folks, some of this stuff is so unbelievable. I couldn't make it up if I tried. Don't give me a lot of credit. I do not have a vivid imagination, but welcome to this channel. Welcome to the Ignition Time channel. I think that if you watch this video all the way through to the end, you're going to be extremely entertained. Please watch the video all the way through to the end. And if you like what you see, and if you think I've earned a like, please give me a like. Please subscribe, please enable notifications. Let's just jump right in. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Let's jump right into this unbelievable DC Comedy Hour and a video montage of the newsworthy events that took place in the past week. You're going to have to see it to believe it. Let's start with the first segment featuring the independent senator from Vermont, the one and only Bernie Sanders, who was actually speaking against Jeff Bezos and Amazon at an unionization event. He said, "What I say to Mr. Bezos, why are you spending millions trying to defeat an effort on the part of workers here who want nothing more than decent wages, decent benefits, decent working conditions?" Incredible comments. Let's roll the tape and hear from the one and only Bernie Sanders.
To Jeff Bezos, who is worth $180 billion, not million, billion. A man who has made tens of billions of dollars in the last year during this pandemic. And what I say to Mr. Bezos, why, when you have so much money, more money that can be spent in a million lifetimes, why are you spending millions trying to defeat an effort on the part of workers here who want nothing more than decent wages, decent benefits, decent working conditions?
And on one hand, we have Bernie Sanders out there fighting for the middle class, fighting for the common man. We have Peter Doocy, who's a White House correspondent for Fox News, complaining about a secret list that the president calls on when he conducts interviews. This is a very interesting exchange between Peter Doocy, the White House correspondent for Fox News, and Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. Let's roll the tape, and I want you to be the judge and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's watch this exchange.
One more about yesterday. We noticed, starting at the end of the campaign and then into the transition and here at the White House, anytime that the president has an event where he is given a list of reporters to call on, Fox is the only member of the 5-network TV pool that has never been on the list in front of the president. And I'm just curious if that is an official administration policy.
We're here having a conversation, aren't we?
Yes, but
and do I take questions from you every time you come to the briefing room?
Yes, but
has the president taken questions from you since you came in? He came into office?
Unfortunately,
yes or no?
Only when I have shouted after he goes through his whole list. And the president has been very generous with his time with Fox. I'm just curious about this list that he has given. So the only member of the 5-network pool never on it, dating back to when he resumed in-person events in Wilmington during the end of the campaign.
Well, I would say that I'm always happy to have this conversation with you, even about your awesome socks you're having on today, you wearing today, and have a conversation with you even when we disagree. The president's taken your questions, and I'm looking forward to doing Fox News Sunday this Sunday for the 3rd time in the last few months. I think we got to move on because we got limited time. Go ahead, Kristen.
And I just want our viewers and subscribers to know that that was not the end of it. Peter's not done yet. Peter's still upset, still going on and on about this secret list, and he feels pretty bad that he feels left out. Let's roll the tape and check out this other segment from Peter Doocy complaining about the secret list, because this matter's not over as far as he's concerned. Let's roll the tape.
Concerns, this list started getting used where the president, when they would host an event, usually in Wilmington, Delaware, would go through either a staffer off to the side or the president would have a list, usually of about 5 people, and those are the ones that he would call on. Fox wound up getting a lot of sound bites from the president because when he was done with that list, he would linger around and see what I was going to shout about. That's great. But yesterday, again, is one of these situations where somebody on the staff or a lot of people on the staff come up with a list, they give it to him, and if he just decides to stick to the list, then we are left out.
Yep, that happened. Now let's move on to much more important matters affecting the country. 18 Republican senators visited the US-Mexico border to check it out because clearly this is a very high priority for us at this moment in time as far as they're concerned. Let's check out this segment of these 18 Republican senators arriving at the US-Mexico border in an armed boat. Let's check it out. Now, in case you're watching this, you're probably wondering just like me,
why are 18 Republican senators at the US-Mexico border right now when we have bigger problems going on, when we're trying to get out of a pandemic and when people are going hungry?
Well, Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, has an answer. Let's check out this segment from Lindsey Graham where he answers the question, why are 18 Republican senators at the US-Mexico border right now? In his words, because it's the biggest issue facing the country in many ways right now. Yeah, I think you have to see this and then I want you to be the judge. Let's roll the tape.
Why are 18 senators here? Because it's the biggest issue facing the country in many ways right now.
Yeah, now if you thought that was interesting, this one's even more interesting. This is about the importance of Montana meth. Folks, if there's one thing you learn from this episode of Ignition Time, I want it to be the importance of Montana methamphetamine. Yes, that's what I said, Montana meth. Here's a comment from Senator Steve Daines, the Republican from Montana. He's actually getting a little nostalgic as he's talking about how Mexican meth has overtaken good old-fashioned, homemade Montana meth. Guys, I'm not speaking from personal experience, but it's clear that Senator Daines is pretty passionate about this subject and he gets extremely nostalgic. Let's roll the tape and hear from the senator.
The flood of Mexican meth, Mexican heroin, Mexican fentanyl. 20 years ago in Montana, meth was homemade. It was homegrown. And it had purity levels less than 30%. Today, the meth that is getting into Montana is Mexican cartel.
Yeah, that was me laughing or maybe silently crying. Let's shift gears and check out the Republican governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who for whom indoor dining is very important, just as Steve Daines, a Republican senator from Montana, was passionate about Montana meth. The Republican governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is passionate about reinstating indoor dining. He says, you got to be in touch with reality. There's some people that maybe they're thinking that walking into a restaurant is like the most dangerous thing in the world, and it hasn't panned out the way they said. Comments from the Republican governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Let's roll the tape and hear from our man, Ron.
You got to be in touch with reality. You got to get out of your cubicle and you got to actually see how the world's actually operating. And, there's some people that maybe they're thinking like that, walking into a restaurant is like the most dangerous thing in the world. And they've said that in the past. But then you look at places that if people are open and doing things, and it hasn't panned out the way they said.
And folks, that was the end of the DC Comedy Hour featuring all the Republican senators and all the Republican governors. Now, let's shift gears and move on to something a little bit more serious. An important comment from President Biden, who's clearly not happy with what happened in Georgia as far as voting is concerned. If you've been following the news, Georgia passed a new law. The governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, signed something into law that would make it harder to vote, that would introduce new restrictions as far as voting is concerned. And this is what President Biden had to say. He said, they pass a law saying you cannot provide water for people standing in line. This is nothing but punitive, designed to keep people from voting, essentially implying that this could be backlash for President Biden and for the Democrats winning Georgia to regain control of the Senate. Let's roll the tape and hear comments from President Biden.
The new Georgia election law?
It's an atrocity. The idea, if you want any indication that it has nothing to do with fairness, nothing to do with decency, they passed a law saying you can't provide water for people standing in line while they're waiting to vote. You don't need anything else to know that this is nothing but punitive, designed to keep people from voting. You can't provide water. for people about to vote. Give me a break.
And to add to the president's comments, here's an interesting comment from Reverend Raphael Warnock, the Georgia senator. He was asked about the filibuster, and he said, I think they ought to ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, what are they going to do about voting rights? Why won't they stand up for voting rights? Let's take a look at this clip from Reverend Raphael Warnock, the Georgia senator.
Tornado victims, your Democratic colleagues who are still holdouts on getting rid of the filibuster.
What was that?
Do you think this will move the ball at all with your Democratic colleagues who are still holding out on the filibuster?
We will see, but folks keep asking what we are going to do about the filibuster. I think they ought to ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, what are they going to do about voting rights? The question really is not, where do I stand on the filibuster? That's a Senate rule. The most fundamental question is, where do you stand on voting rights? We wouldn't have to have this debate about the filibuster, at least on this issue, if the folks on the other side would do the right thing and stand for voting rights and vote the bill up. They can vote the bill up. Why won't they stand up for voting rights? They see what's happening right here in Georgia. They see legislators deciding that it's a crime to give people water, who are standing in lines that they're making longer. And so I'm a member of the Senate. I respect its traditions. I'm honored to be there to represent the people of Georgia. But the issue of voting rights is about the democracy itself. It's much bigger than any Senate rule.
So that was it, everyone. The DC Comedy Hour, the video montage, important clips from the week, everything from Montana meth to the #1 issue facing the country right now, to, most importantly, a secret list of reporters that President Biden calls on, and that list does not include Peter Doocy from Fox, which is absolutely terrible. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda. I want you to know I greatly appreciate you. I want you to have a fun, relaxing, healthy weekend. I want you to know I work hard every single day on this channel for you. And all I ask of you is you please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. If I brought a smile to your face or made you think, I ask that you simply click the like button, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that we work hard on this channel every single day, and that's all I ask for, you clicking the like button, clicking subscribe, and enabling notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.